Okay, let's get through some names that jumped out at me who are free agents right now, Cody. And I want to get your thoughts here. If, in your mind, they stay where they are, they go to another NBL club, they leave the NBL, or potentially in a couple of cases they might even retire. So you can go. You can give me a one-word answer, or you can go in as depth as you like. It's up to you.
Yep.
Let's start in Adelaide. Cam Bairstow.
Yeah, tough one. I thought he was awesome for Adelaide when he was on the court, but then just couldn't stay on the court, and that's been his issue is his health. So look, I mean, he's one of those guys that
he ends up missing 10 games in the end.
Yeah. So he's one of those guys that he's going to produce when he's on the floor for you, but how long are you going to have him on the floor? So that's a tough one. I'm not sure. Look, I'm sure Adelaide will probably want him around and just try keep him healthy, whether that's you limit his load during the season with workouts and training, or I'm not sure what you do. But I think the fact that he was so good for them when he was there, I think they probably go after him again.
I think the plan was for him to have less of a workload if this man stayed healthy as well. Isaac Humphries.
Yeah, a tough one. I don't know if they'll try sign him again. I'm not sure.
He's on a big deal.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He was on a lot of money. Yeah. You'd almost have to. Yeah, look, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. That's a tough one. And then if another club, wants to throw some money at him, you never know. Because again, health is just a massive thing. It's huge.
He's an MVP level player.
Yeah,
but he's not that if he's on the sidelines.
No, and this league there isn't enough games in this league that you can miss 10, 11, 12 games and it not affect the club that much. That's enough for your season to be written off. And with guys of this caliber, do you roll the dice? Do you not? I think that's, it's up to the club. And I guess how he's acted and how he's treated his rehab and all that sort of stuff, I think that all comes into play as well.
Maybe he doesn't need to do too many more concerts either. Anthony Drmic from Brisbane.
Yeah, look, I think Brisbane should try keep him. He had a disrupted pre-season or off-season. He had surgery on his ankle.
Reconstruction.
Yeah, and he just never got right. He never got right. And Drim is one of those guys that is a big energy guy, big confidence guy, and obviously with very little preparation for this season, he just never got into a rhythm. If I was Brisbane, I'd be going after him for sure.
Yep. On the back of talking to Lowell's, we've got a little bit more insight into Nate Jawai's future, I think. Clearly if he plays in the NBL, it's only going to be in Cairns. He's got such a footprint in the community. Do you give him another contract if you're the Taipans?
Oh, yeah, I think I would. With that young core that they're going to have, I think someone like Nate to help talk through the young guys and just that experience, I think, is huge. Can kind of be that bit of a bridge between the coaching staff and the playing group as well. I think that's fairly important. Obviously, Nate's not ready to hang him up, and that's fine. I still think we've seen a fairly fit Nate in the past couple of years, and it's been good to see. Look, I think they should definitely try get his signature.
Yep, I hope so too. And I think Pinder staying actually helps because they've developed a really close bond as well, and I think that'll help. One of their teammates, Kouat and Wani.
It's a tough one. I'm not really sure what they should do with this one. Fairly up and down season, was hurt a bit, came in, had some games where he'd hit some shots, but then didn't do much else.
And then I think he was healthy towards the end and just wasn't part of the rotation.
Yeah, didn't really get into that rotation. And again, he's another big confidence guy. Once he sees one or two go through, he can catch fire real quick. But does he fit in 40's kind of system? I don't think he does. I have no doubt he'll get Cairns move him on. I have no doubt he'll pick up a contract at another club though.
Yeah, I get a feeling it might be best for both parties to just agree to go their separate ways. Another interesting one because he had his moments, but then he also had his moments where he didn't get any court time at all in Illawarra. Harry Froling.
Big Harry, I know. It's been a frustrating one from the outside looking in. I'm sure it's been frustrating for him as well. I think he kind of went to the Hawks, similar to I did, as that kind of last effort to stay in the league, and he came out and had some really good games, and then would just fall out of the rotation and then come in a little bit, play some games here and there, and then fall back out of the rotation. In fairness, Gorge's rotation ended up being about 6 or 7 players. So it's tough to crack that, and I understand that. He's good enough to play in the league. I think he's good enough to play in the league. So again, another one that I think the club will probably part ways with him, but someone will pick him up. I think he's too good not to be in the league.
He's playing in Tasmania right now in the NBL 1. I wonder if the Jack Jumpers jump on him.
There you go. Certainly could have used a big body.
They could have. One of his teammates in Illawarra, Duop Reath.
Oh, you'd be throwing everything at him, surely. You'd have to. He was so important for them, and you know, when they'd struggle to score, he was that guy. Here, go get us a bucket, you know. So yeah, I think they need to. They need to be throwing everything they can at him.
It's a funny one. Once the season ended, he wasn't sure if he was still allowed to catch up for dinners with Jacob Jackamus because he wasn't signed by the Hawks anymore. Yeah. But Jacob was quick to say we can still catch up. And I'm sure he's been in his ear trying to do everything to get him to want to come back.
Oh, I'm sure he has, and that's absolutely fair because he would be very high on the priority list. You'd imagine. We've
talked about this guy a few times, so I'm interested to get your thoughts now that we've had a bit of time to reflect. Finn Delany.
Just had a down year, you know, second year away from home, couldn't find a rhythm, and he's one of those guys that is an energy guy, and he tries to play his way into a game by playing hard, and I think he kind of went too hard. You know, he was trying to play himself into it too hard, and you definitely try and sign Finn, absolutely. It's tough with a lot of the New Zealand boys just because of the crap they've had to go through in the past 2 years.
Yeah. In a similar boat, but he's not going home to New Zealand because he's not a Kiwi.
Right.
But Will McDowell-White?
Yeah, look, I think he was not as good this year. You know, had Peyton Seaver come in and play that point guard role, which McDowell-White plays, and they kind of hindered him a little bit, and he had some brain fades late in games that probably cost him a couple games. But again, just another guy that just couldn't get into a rhythm this year. I think he's a really good local that you'd definitely want to pick up.
Todd Blanchfield's an interesting one. Up and down season in Perth, but he's still in good touch. He's gone back to Queensland, and he had, I think, 15 points in the first quarter for Rockhampton against Mackay on the weekend, and 38 points in his first game. So he's in good touch right now. But what do you think happens with him?
Yeah, look, the Cats probably should go after him. I think he's just one of those guys that can turn a game on its head, and we've seen it before. But just, you know, another year where, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself for most of these guys, but he just didn't find his rhythm. I don't know if it was the system that they were running or what was going on, but he wasn't the same Todd that we've known for the past few years. I'm sure there's teams that will be willing to throw a fair amount of money at him, and it's just going to depend on which way the Cats want to go, whether they want to clear house a little bit and start fresh or what the deal is. But he's someone that you would try get his signature for sure.
A couple of his teammates. Firstly, Matty Hodgson.
Once he got his head screwed on properly, he was really good for them. You know, he obviously went through that stuff mid-season. You know,
also a late signing. I felt like he didn't find his feet early on, and then he got hurt early as well.
Right. And again, just copying what I've been saying, just didn't find that rhythm.
Yeah.
But you know, he's a difference maker. He can change a game on the defensive end. He's so long, blocks shots that you think he has absolutely no way of getting to, and he'll find a way to get there, and reads the game well on that defensive end. And it's a tough one because when you sign Majuk, you re-sign Majuk, which I think is a massive re-signing for them. I think the Cats did a really good job of making sure that he was back on board. I think it was a club option, so that was a great choice. It'll be interesting to see what the Cats do, whether they go for an import big and have Majuk as backing them up, which I could see happening. But
you'd still find a home.
I think he would find a home, and again, somewhere like Tassie that could use that big body. And, he's a big that can run the floor really well. He's athletic and he's good at running the floor. So he would absolutely find a job somewhere. I just don't know if it's with the Cats.
No. Back to Adelaide might be a decent move for him.
Yep.
He knows CJ Bruton pretty well. And if they don't bring Humphries back, then he might be a good fit there as well. What about the captain, Jesse Wagstaff?
Oh, Jess still had another good year. He still had a Jesse year, I think
just leave it to him. If he wants to play,
yeah.
you let him play.
100%. He's done so much for that club and the league that you leave it 100% in his hands. And if he wants to come back and play, you let him. If he wants to hang him up, that's fine. I think people are speculating because, he didn't get the big send-off and all that sort of stuff. If it was his last year, Jesse doesn't want all that. He doesn't want that stuff. So if anything, he's going to go off quietly into the night. And I'm not sure what he'll do. I think that, he's another one of those just ultimate professionals and keeps his body right, and does all the right things so that he's ready to go by game day. And yeah, I'm not sure. It'll be very interesting.
Another interesting one. I'm interested to get your thoughts on Cam Gliddon.
I think he needs to go somewhere else. I think he just hasn't found his role properly with the Phoenix.
Especially now with Simon Mitchell coming back as coach.
Yeah. And, it's just one of those things that you just don't fit into a system properly. It happens, we saw how good he was when he was with Cairns. And so, yeah, look, I think to finish his career, he probably needs to move on somewhere else.
Does he come back to Perth?
Yeah, possibly. I think when he left Cairns, he had an offer from Perth on the table, but decided to go with the Phoenix. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they do. I think he'd be a good pickup for Perth. Absolutely.
We spoke to him. I think it was the first season of the show here when Sean and myself spoke to him, and he made an interesting comment where he felt like if he wanted to win a championship, he wanted to do it the hard way by not coming to Perth because he feels like Perth wins it every year. He might not feel like he had achieved that much or had been a bigger part of it because Perth wins with or without him.
Yep.
Now that Perth have missed the playoffs, I wonder if that's a challenge that he might want to take on.
Put him back on the map with the hometown. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, look, I think it would be best for him. I think he'd probably fit into Perth well and probably help them just as that another guy that can stretch the floor.
Yeah. Another guy you know pretty well,
Wani
Swaka. What a performance he ended up producing to be a starter on that championship team with the Kings. I'd be absolutely flabbergasted if the Kings don't bring him back.
Yeah, if they don't sign him, I will be upset. I'll be very upset. Yeah. I think for a guy that came in as an injury replacement, and again, just someone else who grabbed that opportunity by the horns and just took off.
I don't think there's any chance Chase Buford wouldn't want to bring him back either.
Well, no. And, he's said that in press conferences that, Wani is he's the head of the ball on the defensive end, and he's their leader on that end. And I think he was really good. He always got the toughest matchup and always held his own. I would be very surprised if they move on with him.
Last one, and I deliberately haven't asked you about imports because they're a bit of a different story. But DJ Vasiljevic, what does he do?
Oh, look, I think he'll have some teams throwing some money at him, absolutely. But I think that he fits that style of play that Chase Buford puts onto the floor. And he could probably go to a team that he is the man and he's the go-to guy and he gets 20 shots a night and all that. But win a championship with a club, it's hard to leave that. I think you could see the passion that he had for the club and the city and just that whole team in general had for the city of Sydney. And I think, again, another one the club needs to get his signature quick.
Yeah, I think so. I think if he's in the NBL next year, I think it'll be at the Kings.
Yeah.